I've been having lots of conversations with people and, who are really working with how best to respond to the situation that's happening, the tragedy that's unfolding in Israel and Palestine, and actually any conflict around the world, any global suffering that's happening. And really, there's often two things that we can struggle with. We can struggle with feeling like, really, it's happening, we're seeing it, but we're disconnected from it, or we don't really want to engage in it because we feel we're going to be overwhelmed. Or just feeling like, there's nothing I can do, so why bother myself? Why worry about it? Because there's nothing I can do. And when I try and engage, I then feel like my efforts are wasted. So that's one response. Another type of response is to feel really engaged, really connected with it, really caring about what's happening, and then feeling really despairing or despondent or getting anxious about it as well, feeling really fearful about what's happening, or even hateful too about what's going on. So in Buddhism, we're always wanting to find what's the middle way between the two poles of our experience. And really, they've got different kind of things that each group need to do. So if you're feeling that you're actually disconnected and disengaged from it, or just don't know how to respond because it's all too big, then I think the first thing to say is actually when we do engage, it will challenge us. It will challenge us. It challenges our view of how the world is, and it challenges our emotional life as well. We're having to kind of think, how do I respond? But one thing is actually when you do engage, actually the first thing is to think, well, can I just connect with a suffering, one being who's suffering? You don't have to take on the whole global side of it. You can just listen to some stories. Sometimes listening to another's stories about how the suffering is playing out helps you connect more personally to it. And then bringing people to mind. And in doing so, we're really opening our hearts. We're opening our hearts to individual stories that might be happening. We're also opening our hearts to the global story that's going on as well. And sometimes just wishing them well, praying for peace, wishing people well, helps us connect. It will also bring up our own emotional responses as well. So we're also bringing empathy to that too. So the other way is when we are really involved, we are really engaged, but we're feeling overwhelmed by it. We're feeling overwhelmed by our despair, our despondency, our hatred, our anger about it. When we're in that, it's also important to remember that it's not the whole of our experience. You can hold suffering and joy alongside each other. And actually, I'm always inspired by the people in our lives and in history that make a difference, because what I notice about them is that they often come from a real positive base. They have joy in their being, they have confidence. In fact, it's their confidence and joy that often brings people together to support a cause often. So, really connecting in with our own positivity, finding balance, finding some peace within our experience, coming back to the present helps us balance our emotional response, helps us think a bit more clearly, helps us come back to what's actually going on in our lives, which may be some joy, which may be some beauty, and that lifts our energy up. So we can then engage in the suffering from a more positive, even empowered point of view. And that can be really, actually give us energy rather than sap our energy as well. So whatever position you're finding yourself in is thinking about what's the middle way here. And am I coming from a positive point of view as much as I can? Can I bring peace into my experience so that I can actually wish peace for the world from a place of peace? And can I keep my heart open to myself and to others?